Okay, let me move to the alternate current tech project slide. Brenda, if you would advance that for me, and to the next one. During your work session, as you remember, and I'm not going to go through all the iterations over the past 7 or 8 years on different ways to approach the current tech project. We all know we spent a lot of time on this project. However, during the work session, I had several board members and Commissioner Howard, and since then I've had subsequent talks with other commissioners. The price tag of the additions and the modernization, which we agreed to as the way to approach this problem, was budgeted at $86 million. Now, the $86 million is simply, as we talked about at the time, taking the approved square foot state figure for renovation and additions and taking it by the amount of square footage we have. So it's just a budget figure that's arrived to by that formula. However, given the concern of the cost, I took it upon myself to say, and work with staff, to say, are there other ways that we can not lose this project, either by the board not supporting it or it being not supported by the commissioners who have allocated $60 million in the out-year budget for this project. So I've been working with staff and both on the instructional and the administrative side. We looked at maybe doing this project in pieces, and so that's what I'm going to talk to you and recommend. Actually, I am recommending to do this as an alternate plan to change the CIP and start with the addition. In other words, we would take the 21,000 square foot addition that was listed in the feasibility study provided by the architect, build the addition onto the school for a cost of $9.7 million. $700,000 approximately would go to the county for planning. We would design over the course of this year, and then we'd ask for the construction money in 20 and build out that addition. And then we would have an opportunity to phase in the modernizations over the next subsequent budget years until the project is completed. It makes the project affordable based on what the county has allocated. It addresses some of the issues we have with wait lists. It addresses some of the room issues over there. Mr. Eccles and his staff then can work within, once that's completed, within that is swing space as we approach modernizations, and we can keep the project. Essentially, the project fits the parameters of expanding the Career and Tech Center, certainly beats the budget parameters that have been expected, and after 7 years of myself, and this would be the 8th year of requesting a project that has not been approved because of funding concerns, and doing umpteen studies of different ways to approach this, I'm afraid that if we send through the modernization and additions at the same time, we'll face the same conclusion that it won't be funded. Again, especially since several board members have raised that same concern during the work session. So I'm trying to present to you an alternative to keep the project alive, scale down the scope for this year, but not lose the modernizations, but then to spread that over subsequent fiscal years. So what this would entail is your approval would be a planning year for the county. There'd be no state money involved. It would be simply a $700,000 planning year for the county. We would hire, like the same process that we're going through with the science rooms. You'd have schematic designs, design documents, and you would make approvals along the way as this project develops. And then next year, if it's approved for fiscal year 20, you would get construction and planning approval from the state to actually build out. So that is it. I would say procedurally, if you want to discuss this option, there would be need to be a motion to amend, a second, and then we can have discussion.